Never give up. Never give up. Knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude. Welcome to Zenray Sports TV, the day after the NBA draft. A lot of disappointment in New York, Juby. We were very ecstatic. Tell me how you feel this today after the fact that the Knicks basically did a couple of moves toward the end that we'll share with you, but nothing major that would move the needle in Knick Nation.
Salute to you guys at Zenray Sports TV again. Listen, Zenray, last night we came in with energy, excitement. We were ready to take the city by storm. Bing bong, New York, we here. We thought we were going to rise. And today I find myself like this picture right behind me, shattered, heartbroken, and just down in the slumps right now and with no direction.
And I agree with you. No direction, it looks like so far. Let's finish. Let's see what Leon Rose does. I'm still optimistic, but let me share the energy of the New York Nation people that we love so much. And I'm going to give you an example how we felt. This is the energy we had before we got onto the show yesterday, getting ready for the draft, getting ready for Jaden Ivey or Benedict Mathurin. But let me show you what New Yorkers are all about. I just want to let you know what I'm about to show you. It's a little rated R, so language may be a little crazy, but you'll enjoy this.
That's New York for you.
Here we go.
Austin. Yo, you thought Trae Young was still good? He still ain't good at Dyke, man. You smoking on that Boston pack tonight. You double fucking overtime. What the fuck, baby? New York is fucking back.
Knicks are here, baby. The Knicks are fucking here, baby.
Fresh out the garden, baby. We're taking it all the way.
We had De Blasio. We had Cuomo. It was rough shit. But we have the Knicks. That's New York. Knicks run New York City.
Bing bong.
Tell me a little something, KD. Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks.
Juby, that's the kind of energy, enthusiastic Knick Nation that we have behind us. Knick Nation is awesome. But that's the type of energy we had coming into the show. What happened, Juby? Explain to us what happened and explain to me foreseeable future. Is Leon Rose on some New York stuff that we're not aware of? Is management separated? Thibodeau putting his 2 cents in? What's going on, and what do you think happened last night, Juby?
Let me just say, watching that video, man, I love New York fans, best fans in the world. And like you said, Zenray, that's the energy we had. That was the energy I wanted to finish the night with. Like I said, we were ready to take the city by storm, especially if we would have drafted Ivy. And if not Ivy, at least a Mathurin. These are the players that I was excited for. And I said that I would have been okay, not happy, even if we ended up with AJ Griffin. But Knicks management decided to shock the world and confuse everybody. Not just you and I, Knick Nation, but I mean everybody watching around the world on social media. Were just confused about the moves that went on. Nobody had a clue. I don't think Knicks management really has a clue right now. And from my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong moving forward to this free agency, I don't think management has no clue on what they're doing. They're kind of in the middle of, they want to win now, but they want to worry about the future. And they're going about it 100% the wrong way, Zenray.
Well, let me tell you how confused you and I were yesterday. I'm going to show you a little clip of what Knick Nation, in terms how they felt yesterday through all this mayhem and all this craziness going different directions, going up. It was a bad case of Chinese checkers. Watch this.
Knicks acquired Jalen Duren and moved him with Kemba Walker to the Pistons?
Wait, what are we doing? We got the big man of the future and moved him to the Pistons.
Kind of looks like me
Aren't the
there.
Pistons got someone else?
No, the Pistons just took Jalen. No, who just took Jalen Durant?
Someone else threw the Knicks. It's all getting
That's
complicated.
okay.
And Abaji just got taken. One of our favorite prospects.
Got the beard.
41% from three.
So the Knicks don't have anyone.
Wait.
It's boom, click and go back this way. Boom, here, click and go that way. Boom,
Leon Rose.
that way. Click here and go back this
Chinese
way.
checkers.
It's boom, click and go back this way.
That was me
Boom,
trying to
here,
explain it to
click
you guys
and go that
yesterday.
way. Boom, that way. Click here and go back this way.
I can't dream no more, man. So, Ty, I think we're gonna pick together pretty soon, and I'm gonna dial 911. My blood pressure is not doing too well.
I mean, what are we going to do with the Knicks now, Spike? That's why we pray.
But let me just say,
Wow.
to be
My
honest,
facial expression just said everything for me right there. I'm watching last night. I just see my face. Me grab my shirt. I was on fire, and it was just
it's crazy. That's the way I felt last night. I actually do my meditation and I do my stuff to get myself sane and kind of zen out in my own moments. But I did go on my knees and said a little prayer like Stephen A. and
Spike.
Lee. I'm lost for words because I'm trying to stay as positive as possible, Juby. But after watching that and getting these outcomes yesterday, and I'm just gonna pause this for a little bit.
Right. What do you mean be positive? Listen, I know that you're all about the Zen and being positive. How can you, as a New York fan, be positive with the moves that were made last night? We started
Non-moves.
just ridiculous. We started it off so excited. We wanted Ivy. New York was ready for Ivy. We were ready for Mathurin. We were going to embrace even an AJ Griffin, and we end up with shenanigans, nonsense, in my opinion.
Who are the two players that end up picking at the end at that 42nd pick, Juby?
They ended up picking, which, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. I called it early last night. I was so upset. They picked with their 42nd pick. They picked up Trevor Keels from Duke, which scrappy player, not the best shooter. His stat wise right now, he shot from 3-point range. He shot 32% last season. But hard-nosed defender, likes to hustle, a Tom Thibodeau kind of player. I would anticipate that this is going to be when he's ready, because I don't think he's going to – we all know Tom Thibodeau doesn't play the young guys. But when he's ready, this might be possibly a Alex Burke kind of replacement. But, he has some good qualities. On a scale of 1 to 10, they gave him strength a 9, quickness a 7, jump shots a 7. They say that he has to really work on his jump shooting, passing 7, and athleticism 7. So
7 is not bad. 7 means if you keep on working your game, you could get better. And who's the other player they picked up on a 10-day contract?
They also picked up Garrison Brooks. Garrison Brooks was originally from North Carolina and then got traded to the Mississippi Bulldogs. Not a bad pickup. So things can either be great or it can be it didn't work out.
Juby, you can't sell this to Knick Nation. You can't sell this to Knick fans.
Listen, guys, he shot 50% from 3. All I can tell you, he's a 6'9" forward. All I can tell you about Garrison Brooks, I'm going to just say real quick, and you guys take it as you want. Pros is he's a solid finisher around the basket. He is a decent rebounder, athletic. Cons is he needs to improve his free throw shooting, his face up to the game, can tend to lapse defensively, and has too many inconsistent.
He ain't gonna last very long if he has defensive laps with Thibodeau. But let me continue what I was trying to go. So we started the day being enthusiastic. So we get this Knicks draft day trades that confuse incoming 3 future conditional. Conditional is the key word. First round picks. 2 from Oklahoma, Viva Detroit and Washington, and 1 from Detroit, Viva Milwaukee. That ends up being a 2025 first-round pick with restrictions, obviously. And then the outgoing draft rights to Ousmane Diang And I look at it back now, and even if I went to sleep and we had Ousmane Diang, I would be okay. It's not the greatest, okay, but they have something up their sleeve, okay. But when they traded out of getting Ousmane Diang, the 11th pick NBA draft to OKC for one future first-round pick from OKC to Chicago, Viva Denver. It's like, up here and there, we're going up here. Like Rodman in the previous video was explaining, you do a little bit of this, you do a little bit of that, you go in this way, and then you cut this way. And then four future second-round picks, two shot. We gave up 4 future second-round picks, draft rights to Jalen Duren, 13th pick to 2022 NBA draft to Detroit from Chicago. Juby, it just was all over the place. I was confused and baffled last night, and you were as well. So as we go along watching this, which was not pretty at the time, but we thought Leon Rose had a plan. We thought he was creating his own game of Chinese checkers and adding a little, chess in there and adding a little checkers, old-fashioned American checkers. But no, last night he does this confusing kind of play with different players going, draft picks going, and receiving 3 unconditional picks. And don't forget, attaching Kemba Walker, a $9 million contract, and just giving him away to Detroit.
Which Zenray, they could have just bought him out. It's just
salary cap. So I understand that. So Leon Rose, we expected something from Leon Rose last night. So he sends the message to Nick Nation, and he says, last night we made 3 trades involving draft picks, which resulted in increased financial flexibility and additional draft capital. Moving forward, we now have a total of 22 picks, 11 in the first round, 11 in the second round over the next 7 years. We have the ability to be active in free agency as well as in the trade market. Our focus will remain to be strategic and thoughtful in our team building, doing it the right way. Okay, that's the opinions matter there. Doing it the right way. There's the Leon Rose way, which is the right way, which I still trust, and it's the way of Nick Nation thinking that we didn't move the needle. Let's see what happens next week in free agency. So doing the right way while feeding off the momentum from last year's ending of the season, prioritizing our players' development program. Okay, so the momentum from the end of last season, interesting. That momentum would have been much better if that momentum would have got us into the play-in game, the playoffs. That would have sounded much better. But you're attaching something that, yes, with the last 10, 12 games was an uplifting because Tom Thibodeau finally decided to play the young players, Juby. Give me your take on this letter. Give me the take on what the Knicks did last night, being all over the place, playing Chinese checkers, a little bit of chess, and obviously some old-fashioned American checkers.
Well, the Knicks management wasn't going to announce anything to us. They got pressured from the media and social media and everybody losing their mind last night, including myself and you. And this sorry excuse of a letter for the Knicks fan base that they were thoughtful in making these moves. Thoughtful to who? And then they're prioritizing player development. Does Tom Thibodeau know this? Is he aware that you're prioritizing player development? Because I got to be honest with you, Zenray. If it wasn't for the last 15 games of the season and us not going anywhere and players getting hurt like Cam Reddish, Alex Burke, and Julius Randle apparently sitting out due to injury, there would have not been no prioritizing player development. We would have not seen an Obi Toppin finish out the season that he did, and Emmanuel quickly finishing out the way he did. It's a sorry excuse to us Knicks fans, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. And I hope with everything, like you like to say, the best is yet to come, or to quote you, Zenray, I hope they have a plan for their sake. And I know we're going to get to that in a few minutes. They're off-season free agent targets. But if that plan does not work out, I would not want to be not even a fly in the room of Leon Rose, what he's going to hear in World Wide West.
Yeah, that's a great take on your end. I'm still positive. I know you get angry when I say that, and I understand. And Nick Nation will probably throw tomatoes at me, but I understand But let me just end the letter by Leon Rose saying thank you to the Knicks fans for your continual support. Listen, regardless if you're here or not, Leon Rose, we've been supporting Knicks since I was born and since you've been born. We want progress. We want a future championship. Juby, can you say 2 to 3 years from now, do we have a shot to even get to the Eastern Conference Finals? It looks bleak now. And never mind the championship game, winning that NBA title. That's a far gone conclusion in my eyes. So let me continue this video. So after they made those trades, after Leon Rose came out with his letters, this is what the Knicks fans felt after hearing all this, I won't say garbage, but nonsense. Here we go. After the letter. Thank you, fans, for your continued support.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
Yep. That's how we felt.
You got till 5 o'clock.
Where's
me?
my pick?
You got till
Where's
5
my
o'clock.
pick?
You freaking psychopath!
Clean yourself up.
What the hell happened to you?
I, fell down the stairs.
Well, you should be more careful.
This is how everyone felt afterwards. There's Spike Lee comforting Stephen A. Smith. That's how we felt last night, baby. And I think all of Knick Nation felt the same way. Like, what the hell are we doing? We wanted to go and jump out of a window, drink some Clorox, light up a spray bomb in our place, punch TVs. Yep, this guy was very humble enough to say, "Hey, life is over."
He must have seen the draft with us.
He looks like Sohan. That's how we felt last night. That's how we felt last night. Knick Nation, it has been so far a total embarrassment, and I'm all for Leon Rose and the regime, and I'm sticking to my guns. There's something they're up to, Juby. Do we have an idea what they're up to? What's up, Jaden?
All right, puppy, go over there.
Hey, how you doing?
Listen, he's even trying to get me from the jumping out of a window right now. Honestly, Zenray, I don't know what's going on, man.
Donovan Mitchell, Murray from San Antonio.
I think Devontae Murray is their second. I think they're going all in for Jalen Brunson. I think if they're able to get him, they want him first. I think Devontae Murray will be their second option. And as far as Donovan Mitchell, I think they accumulated assets to try to see, depending on what the silent assassin wants.
Are those first round picks worth anything?
No,
there had a lot of restrictions, like restricted 8, restricted 15, restricted 12 in terms of.
At least if they weren't restricted, I would have sat there and said, "Good job. At least we got picks that are going to be maybe in the top 10," but nothing.
That's a gamble. That's a crapshoot. You're hoping that these restrictions are waived off, because if the restrictions continue after a couple of years, you lose all those picks.
I'm hearing these picks where it may not even accumulate to a pick. Apparently, that's what I was hearing, that they may not even come to us.
Exactly.
Because so
you can lose them, obviously. Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, they shed doing what they did. They were able to, they say $9 million, but with taxes and everything, and I forgot a couple other things, it ends up being about $12 million in total. They still have to make, that they have for, because if I'm not mistaken, the NBA salary cap is at 120 and we're at 102. So we have about 18 that we can offer, almost 18. But they still have to make some moves. If they want to be competitive with Mr. Mark Cuban, and they want a Jalen Brunson, or they're gonna have to shed some more salary. If they want Devontae Murray, they're gonna have to get creative. I don't know what packages they can offer San Antonio, because it looks like
to go back in that deal if that's the case. But are the Spurs going to look for a guy who's going to unsettle the atmosphere over there in San Antonio?
And let me just say, San Antonio, man, besides Detroit, San Antonio was my second biggest winner of last night's draft for me. Why? Because they got Sohan, and they got the other guy, not Matherin, what's his name?
Branham.
Branham. What a dynamic two great young players that you can build a foundation around. You know what I mean? It just hurts me. Like I said, even Chicago picked up a great point guard, Terry. This is just crazy nonsense. And then I'm hearing, like I said, besides Brunson, Zenray, and Devontae Murray, and Donovan Mitchell wishes. I'm hearing if things don't work out in Brooklyn for Kyrie, that Kyrie has us on his wish list. Do we really want sloppy seconds, ladies and gentlemen? Let's be honest. The man could have come here. The man chose to go to Brooklyn. They laughed at us. Kevin Durant laughed at us. Are you willing to embrace Kyrie Irving and forgive and forget because of a financial obligation now?
He's using us, boy. He's
using
us. He's using us. He doesn't want to come to New York. And we don't want to be his sloppy second. So we want no part of Irving at all.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you, if you had to take a guess, who out of the three players in Brunson, Mitchell, and Murray in San Antonio, who do you think the Knicks are going to go hot and heavy for? And if you answer that question, and then if you had a choice personally, who would you pick? So what do you think the Knicks are going to do? And what's your preference?
I think they're going to go after Brunson. I think they're going to offer him $22.5 million. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. And that's my personal opinion. Do I think that's the move to make? I'm kind of mixed about it because I would listen to what Devontae Murray from San Antonio.
I like him.
I like him a lot. He would be my second choice, absolutely. And to some degree, he would be my first choice because at least with him, you don't have to offer so much money. I mean, I don't know what the cap situation is and what his salary is looking like, but you might save some money not going, putting all your money into one player. And let's be honest, Brunson's very talented, great player, played alongside Luka Doncic. Is Brunson and the team that we have right now, Eastern Conference, worthy? Are we going to get to the East with just a Jalen Brunson addition? Absolutely not. We make it to the first round. We'll win 2 games instead of 1, maybe 3 with a Jalen Brunson. But it's not that kind of player that takes us to the next level to compete with a Milwaukee Buck, to compete with a Miami Heat, in my opinion.
Agree. Absolutely, Juby. I agree with you. The other creative side of thinking outside the box, I'm still pulling for Leon Rose, man. And Leon Rose I still trust because it's not over, Juby. I know you're going to go at me. Give me a couple of minutes to explain what I'm trying to say here. So you get a Jalen Brunson here, okay? On a sign and trade, you come up with some Mitchell Robinson, whatever. And then you get creative and you get Murray from San Antonio. You try to unload Fournier or you try to unload Randall or some kind of combination and some picks, whatever. If you can pull off a Brunson and Devontae Murray coming to New York, that would make me feel much better. Well, if you get a Devontae Murray alone, okay, it suits the pain a little bit. I'm okay with that. If you get a Brunson here, okay, it's not bad either, but I'm not really okay with it. You have to do more. But if you could bring 2 of those players that I just mentioned, then Leon Rose was up to something, and I think he is up to something, Juby. I don't know what happened, but this is the situation. As much as Leon Rose wants to build with the youth, we have a coach that wants veterans. This is how everything is starting, okay? Thibodeau didn't want us to draft anybody at the 11th pick because he doesn't have the patience, times, or maybe doesn't have the energy or the staff maybe in his mind to train up these kids to get them ready. I think he feels Obi and quickly and what he saw in Quentin Grimes last year and Jericho Sims, he can work with that. I think Thibodeau didn't want another young player here. So now he's pushing Leon's hand. You're my coach. You're asking me what you want. I'm going to have to oblige to your wishes. So he's saying, okay, I have a plan. We're going to do this mix of craziness that we did yesterday to acquire all these picks that for me has really no value. It's like a mirage. So they're going to pull out this mirage to Danny Ainge and to the San Antonio executives and to Mark Cuban and the people out there in Dallas and say, look what we have. We have all this draft capital. We have all these possibilities. We have a Mitchell Robinson here. We have a Julius Randle. We have a Fournier. Okay, and we have Alex Burks. Take the picking and give me your best player on the team. If that works and he pulls that mirage or that scheme to these GMs and presidents, Leon Rose did something in my eyes, Juby. Okay. That's a pipe dream, but I'll be satisfied if we get 2 of those players here.
Listen,
what do you think?
Bless you. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep the religious aspects. Bless you for being so optimistic and for being so hopeful. That's what I love about you. And I'll tell you this, Zenry, although I think that's a long shot, if that does happen, and if Tom Thibodeau, Leon Rose, and Worldwide West end up with not just one of these guys, but a couple of other pieces that make us relevant and make us competitive, I will personally go live on YouTube, Nick Nation, and give an apology and say I was wrong about Leon Rose and Worldwide West and Tom Thibodeau. I just don't see it. I said it before. You've seen the backgrounds all season long. Team has no identity. They don't know if they want to be young. They don't know if they want to be old. They don't know if they want to be superstar. They don't know what they want. And I think management is on the same boat. They want to please everybody. Leon Rose wants to please Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau wants to please Julius Randle and Alex Burke, apparently.
That's right.
I just don't know what to do. But here's the scary thing. You heard Stephen A. say he's boycotting Madison Square Garden this upcoming season.
He'll still root for them, he says. He'll still root for them.
Still root for them. And guess what? This is Stephen A. Smith. This is an announcer. He's an entertainer. He does that because he gets paid. What happens if nothing transpires? As a Knicks fan, as a season ticket holder, you see prices to go to a Madison Square Garden, $140 to sit up in the upper deck bleachers. Are you going to pay that to see this mockery, this Big Apple circus of a team if they don't make any moves? Absolutely not. So Jim Dolan, if you're listening, I don't even want to say to get into it, but I think there's going to be a time where something needs to happen, whether if they don't get it together, it's going to have to be Tom Thibodeau has to go, Leon Rose has to go. For me, this is the 7th inning, and pretty soon it's going to be the bottom of the 9th, because although you got 7 picks in the next 7 years or whatever, so Tom Thibodeau, we have him for another year. RJ Barrett, by then, is going to be, 27, 28? I'm going to be 47, 48. I mean, come on, guys. Let's be realistic. The time is now. We want New York City's Knicks to be relevant in the NBA again.
Well said, Juby. Let me just say this. Last night, the Knicks got shut out. They struck out so bad. They were there in the 9th inning trying to hit that home run so hard. Bases loaded, okay? That they swung so hard and tried their best, but their best wasn't good enough. So the Knicks last night, for me, a major KO. They got knocked out. And I wouldn't say they got knocked out in the first round. I think they got knocked out. Like, you're going 12 rounds, you're boxing, and you're winning by a few points, and the other boxer just needs a knockout to knock you out. Well, in the 12th round, they laid us flat on the ground. I'll say that much. But I'm still confident that Leon Rose is up to something. And if that scenario that I just mentioned a few minutes ago, Devontae Murray, and you get a Jalen Brunson here, the Garden is going to be rocking and rolling. I think a lot of Knicks fans will be forgiving in my eyes. I could be wrong. But let me show you, Jubin, let me show our viewers the consolation prize of the players you mentioned earlier. So here is the consolation prize. Watch this.
The Cavaliers take Trevor Keels. I can see Keels going anywhere from like the late 20s to this area, but I really like him in Cleveland. He brings needed point of attack defensive help and an offensive skill set ready-made to complement one of the best guards in the league in Darius Garland.
Keels. You heard what he said. To complement Dennis Garland. We don't got Dennis Garland. I wish we did.
We need a point guard. And I think Brunson and Devontae Murray can help. So I think Keels can be a special player. But obviously, like you mentioned, you need a point guard. This is Harrison Brooks.
Harrison Brooks.
Garrison or Harrison?
Garrison, excuse me. Garrison Brooks.
Yeah, Garrison Brooks from Mississippi State.
Let's do it.
He seems okay. I mean, look, none of these guys
is a doppelganger.
He's not gonna touch. The Knicks are not touching the needle with any of these guys now, and we need a point guard. It's quickly the answer. We speak about that all the time. We need a point guard to lead this team. Juby, I'm not really impressed with these picks yet because we haven't made any major moves. Can Keels be a good player for us? He can be with the right direction, he'll probably be in the G League for a while. Obviously, we need a leader, a point guard who's going to lead this team. Is Kyrie Irving, is that what they're talking about coming to New York? I'm going to be very afraid because if you keep Julius Randle as we think is going to happen, but if you want to get rid of contract, Julius Randle has to be one of them in some kind of trade. And I mean, I accept keeping Fournier because we need shooting, but Burks and Randle has to go somehow, some way. But I think Fournier has more value than Julius. Maybe even Burks has more value. Nobody wants to touch Julius Randle with a 10-foot pole. His value is a dime to a dollar, a penny to a dollar. It's worthless at this point.
Facts.
So I think I will agree what you said a few shows back that the Knicks will probably have to get him playing a little bit. Maybe by All-Star break we'll get rid of him. But do you want to deal with Julius Randle another half a season? Knick Nation, let us know. We appreciate you guys being here. Juby, thanks. You've been great, Juby. I tell you, man. You have any last departing, encouraging, that's the key word, encouraging word.
Encouraging.
To Knick Nation.
Listen, Knick Nation, keep your head up. Let's be optimistic. Like my good friend here says, God, like I said, bless his soul. Hopefully they'll bless Knicks management. And let's hope for the best, guys. That's all I got to say. Until next time, I'm Juby the Tubi saying family above everything, guys. Peace.
Thank you, Juby. And I want to say one thing. I want to thank all the people who came on last night. You guys were tremendous. I mean, we had Don, we had Ty. Let me tell you something about Ty. Ty said it best. Ty and Mike said it best. The Knicks have to get rid of Leon Rose. I'm still hopeful, but they were saying it. You know, he's afraid to make major moves. A lot of the things they said on yesterday's program came to fruition in terms of how Leon Rose was acting last night. Was he afraid? Was he fearful to pull a string on something? We don't know. The thing I know is he went hard for Ivy. It didn't work. Detroit was not going to give up that Ivy pick, man. They have the best backcourt in basketball at this juncture. I want to thank Don. I want to thank Prezi. I want to thank Henry. I want to thank Connor. I want to thank all you good people who came last night to show your support. It was great and having you all commenting and giving your opinions. You Absolutely. Guys are terrific. And Knick Nation, never give up. Never give up. Knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude. Zen Ray out. Juby, thank you again.
Later, my brother.
Zen Ray out.
Never give up. Never give up. Knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude.